Okay, bottom of page Kuf Mem Aleph. So in the middle of discussing the Indian of the Parsos, we're not in the bottom. We're actually in the middle of page Kuf Mem Aleph. שואל מסחרס, הרי מסר דק. גם שהפרס מהבדל זה מסר דק, מראה שאין המסר להר, כן, גם אחר שהפרס כנס קדש. אז the concept of מסר within קדוש הגוף, הבדל within קדוש, זה בא דצות דוגמה, וגדילה הפרס אחר בקדש הקדוש. Parish separate with the Kodesh HaKadoshim. It means even the other side of the pass is also Kodesh. Shein Vadegas Kodesh HaKadoshim. The Agam Shapasim Avdelis, the curtain separates a muscle dak ma'oid. The curtain is very thin. It's a muscle, obviously. It means like a thin curtain which doesn't have such a strong effect. That is why even the other side of the path, the curtain is still called Kodesh. Yadua, then he brings in another mashal on the concept of parsa. Yadua parsa is built in Musidori. The whole concept of parsa of the curtain is also compared in Chassidus to Oisias built in Musidori. Disorganized, jumbled up ladders, he says. Oisias bichlalim kelim alayim. Oisias general ladders are considered kelim alayim. They're vessels, they're receptacles that accept and receive the oil, to which, like when a person speaks, it means that he had an idea in his mind, and the words express that idea. So they're kelim, they're vessels to which the oil expresses itself. It's built in Sadorim, but if the words are jumbled, the letters are not organized in the proper order, Nasapres Pasam of Delis. Then that's what the Marshal and other places says. Even a parson, so there's Kalim. Kalim are also Akbal, but Akbal of Kalim is in a way that it's Kalim, that it allows the earth to shine to the Kalim. That the idea that you express the words, it's not in its own in its ultimate purity the way it is before. It's put in words, but the words still express the idea. But what happens if the words, the letters are jumbled and not organized? Then they block the idea. So I mean, already bring the mashal of Oisius, it goes into Oisius Guf. But Oisius built into Oisius, Yesh Oisius Achik Oisius. So we know that in the mashal of Oisius, there are two types of Oisius, types of letters, written letters and engraved letters. Oisius Aksivim, the Noisef al Etzam Kamoya Dioi, Shamayim Chasal Nunes Aklap. The Oisius Aksim written letters are Kamoya Noisef. They're like an additional something from the outside, just like letters that are written on a parchment. You take out an outside substance, which is the ink, and then apply it to the parchment. Say shame. So when you put the letters on the parchment, it hides, it conceals the whiteness of the parchment. So that's in the manimshul. It means it's like it's a keli which is from the outside. And engraved letters. They also darken the whiteness of the precious stone, or the stone that they're engraved on. They're still not Davan. So we have again, so we just jump from one mashal to the other. Parso is like Oisius built him to the, but to explain the better, it says Oisius Bechlal is Kalim. In Oisius Gufa the two madrigas. It says the Oisius Aksim and the Nimshul Zerpnes Kalim the Atzilus. Oisius Achkik and Kalim Shabakes. So there's Atzilus, there's Kesser, and bottom of the Oisius, the Kalim, the way in Atzilus are compared to Oisius Aksiva, because the Kalim are Davan Noisa. The tzil, the shape, the definition of the Kalim is an additional layer on the oil. The oil is infinite, and then the Kalim define the oil as a specific type of oil, the Chesed, the wool, etc. But Shenkin, the Oisius, the way it is in Kesser, the Kalim should be Kesser, the Kalim are not an additional thing. They're extension of the oil itself. That's Oisius stam. Now, when we talk about Oisius built in Macedonia, what does it mean? They're Pasha, and a Pasha, and a man of Atzilus. So again, so it's like Oisius built in Macedonia, but the passage of man Atzilus, since compared passage to Oisius built in Macedonia, since the Kesser, the Oisius Achika, male turns out it's actually it's almost mixing two metaphors. There's the metaphor of the Oisius and the metaphor of the Oisius built in Macedonia. So it combines them both. So male sends the pulse of Shemaman Atzilus. This Achik b'meile kein ein mal lemasar shgam lachar pasach nesketch. It's an interesting approach. We mix two metaphors here. One metaphor is that Oisius hide the idea. Then there's another metaphor that Oisius Achsiva hide cover up the material they're written on. It's like a mixture of two metaphors together. But turns out is that when you say that the passage when it's been Romana Matilus Vatilus is like the Oisius Achkika built in Macedonis. So even though it's built in Macedonis, it's still Oisius Achkika. The Mele ain't a Malam Kolkaf.
But the message, like.
But the idea, what do you mean the message?
The idea, yeah, the idea is still cryptic. Sorry.
Exactly. It is cryptic, but because it's Achkikos, it's not as cryptic. Yeah, it's interesting. Again, it's something we have to use the imagination to understand the concept.
Because it's all ruchnis. It's all ruchnis. Yeah. It's not, right?
V'yesh parsos b'atzilus. Then in Atzilus Gufa, there's also parsos. Okay, so that they took care of the passage of Atzilus to Bria. Now, within Atzilus Gufa, there's also parsos, there's also curtains. Kamar passage may be all these concepts, the sources in Kabbalah, Zohar, not sure. Zohar, it says, it's Chaim for sure, in the Kabbalah. It says in Kabbalah, sheyesh parsa ben Atzilus Lazo, ben Abina Lazo, between Bina, the Moichin, and the Midas, and Bina Lazo, there's a parsa, there's a code. V'shekosov, and there's a remes to the pasuk, v'arosh ha'chayes rakia. Says and talks about it in the Merkavas Yecheskel, Rosh HaChayes on top of the Chayes. Chayes means the Chayes HaKodesh, which I guess in this understanding, the Chayes represents Zoh, and the Rosh HaChayes Rakia. Rakia is like a firmament, which means like a muscle. The B'chinas HaKelim that Tzilus, so that he goes in more detail. We just said before the difference that Kelim that Tzilus they succevo. Says no, B'chinas HaKelim that Tzilus in Yeshua it is succev. Kol makom aden kam to l'vushem neu bei the Mesav Tzarek Nasakli. So again, he adds another subtle layer here, another marshal, which makes it even more like abstract in a way. That he wants to show us that the passage between Bina and Zoh is also not mamish thick. What's the raya? What is the passage between Zoh? That's the kelim of the kelim of Bina. Says the kelim of Atzilus Bechlal. We just compare the Takatosis Aksiva, but at the same time, we call Makim and comes from Mushim Neubet, which is like almost contradict. It almost contradicts the other marshal. The other marshal we said that Oisius Achkiko is Mineu Beit, part of the rock. Oisius Aksav means something comes from the outside. Now he says, no, the truth is the Kedim of Atzilus, Kodem Kamsa Lushan Neu Beit. Kamsa is like in Medrash means a grasshopper. Sometimes it say it means like a turtle. It means that the cover and the body is one. So the cover, which is the keli, the levush, is part of the body itself. The male, which means that's a concept we also learned. That sometimes Kabbalah says usually keli and are two different energies. Is gvul and keli is gvul. Sometimes it says in Kabbalah, the keli itself is really created from the thickening of the earth. We're not going to go into the dull discussion here, but this concept brings out the fact that even the keli is not really from the outside. Earlier, when the marshal from the dioi means something on the outside. This is really to a certain degree, it's not mamish from the outside. It's misabas ha'oil. The oil itself turns into cave. So because of that, he says, even though it is saksar, okay, so even in the pasa which obtain atzilus, it's still atzilus. Just like I said earlier, that the pasa from kesel atzilus, because it's isisachkika, because ein malem asala oil. Whereas Atzilus is also Kodesh. Within Atzilus Gufa, there's a pasa, there's Kalim, but at the same time, because from Samson Asakli, pasa doesn't really cover totally. V'yesh efesh gadol ben avolazo. Okay, now he uses the more common way to explain this whole concept. So first he used the Kabbalah language, pasa, which is like a curtain, ACS, mixtape. Now it's a different way to explain it. Yes, every God, it's similar. The regular explanation, the difference in Avo and Zo, is like the difference in Mechan Midas, like intellect and emotion. So we know that between intellect and emotion, there's a major leap, which is like almost like a pulse. So there's some kind of separation because that's to a degree it mamish something that we can relate to. That there's intellectual part of the person and there's the emotional. So they're two different. They're not. They're really separate and different. So the yachas of avon zo, it's like ma'echnemidas. So then you understand better the concept of the motion. There's separation between the omikong at the same time. Again, so the two parts is spoke till now. The parts between Kesser and Natzil. The parts between Avo and Zo. On one hand, it's like a separation, but it's not a total separation. It's still part of the same body, so to speak, the same type of Gilul Likus. Over parser Shebei Natzil Sabri. Then there's the third parser, Malevas Yosef. That's even a stronger level of helm, of concealment. Again, we all speak about the Avdollah, but it's just not is in the process of explaining the Baso is the curtains within Gedusha. So he says within Gedusha we have in Kesel Atzilus, we have in Bin Elazar, we have in Atzilus Tabriya. The ultimate, the strongest one, the most effective one is the Patr in Atzilus Tabriya. The brings a dogma for that Kedush like my Mashal Shein Zo. What is it compared to? It's not compared to jumbled up letters. Jumbled up letters are still letters. Still, let's say the word Bereshis. What the word Bereshis? Then he jumbled the letters up, so we don't know what the word means, but it's still letters of the word Bereshis. But this Mashal Shadunian Zo. The Parsa is compared to a Mashal from something foreign. You discuss a concept, and you bring you tell them a story, a Mashal. Okay. What is a good Mashal and a Mashal? Like a Medrash always, Marshal and Melech. Talk about the Abish. The Abish said Marshal and Melech. I mean, Melech and the Abish is it's a double zo. It's a fine thing. The Abish is not. It's not about Melech Basaladam. It's something way shaloi be'erach to the Nimshul. Marshal and Nimshul are much more separated than the ACS. That are jumbled up. So mainly he says, so it's the same thing that the Yachas of Bria of Tatzil is like a muscle. So the Chacham de Bria ain't the most Chacham Tatzil. Just like with the muscles, ain't the most animal, like I said, the dogma for muscle and melech, the muscle actually is not. Avoben, all this mishalim, when they apply this mishalim to the Eibush, the Chal, it's not just jumbled up. It's a different different dimension. It's a different level. So he said, so that's all the Yachas Atzilus the Bria. He brings another way to express it. The Chacham the Bria ain't the most Chacham Atzilus. Much Chacham B'Torah Pasach Leon. My Pasach Leon, he shows us, he explains the concept. The Chacham Atzilus, the Chacham the Bria are not just the same thing in a lesser strength, a lesser power. It's Ein Mahus. It's a different entity. It's a different essence. because the parsa, which is the like I said, the curtain between Atzilas and Bria, it comes from Malchus. The concept of Malchus Bechlal is something which is separate, because like we spoke various times, that Sfiras HaMalchus means it's something very external. There's the test spheres which express what the person is. Malchus is something. Malchus is an outside entity, like Nifdelis. It's about to communicate, it's about to speak, it's about to affect outside of yourself. It's nivdel, it's separate. It's not what happens within you. It's something what happens the way you relate to others. So it's a totally different type of thing. So that's what this parsa is a very much stronger parsa. Malem is a totally covers. It's like in the mashal of the curtain. It's so to speak, a thicker curtain. Okay, so that's really the introduction. Because don't forget, the discussion was interesting. He got into a very long detour about what Avdollah is. He started talking about really in the pasuk of Nesechem Avdin. He was trying to, in this, the topic he's talking about here is how Avonis separate Asamalikus. But he got it to explain it better. Speaks how the concept of dollar separation exists within Kedusha also, because of Atzilus, between Elazar, and Atzilus to Bria. All these curtains, so to speak, they are all within Kedusha. The Mele, so it's not it's still part of the element of the Kedusha. Feel Likus. The question is only the level, how much the feeling for Likus is. Aval yesh for this parsa of das then there's a totally different entity, which is the parsa, the curtain of das, which function is created a new separation, kodesh l'chol, holiness and something which is unholy, mundane. That's the separation of kedusha l'pas nega shemalem is legamre she'en nimshach sham gilui likus. The klipas negas is this parsa between kedusha klipas negas madanas legamre. It's a type of concealment which is a full and total blockage. Change nimshach sham gilui likus. There's no gilui likus whatsoever. Or parsa, what is parsa? Shach klipas nega atzman nase parsa mistas aloi. Okay, just describe what is the parsa. Remember, when we spoke about it in Kedusha, also there was like a disagreement what the parsa is, whether it's the I skipped the Chatzriku. In other words, what the which Madrigal and Mila is the parsa, there's a few explanations, whether it's Malchus, whether it's the Kelim. So he says similarly in we talk about the parsa, what is the parsa? That's the being of Klipas Noga, the creation of Klipas Noga. They actually created this Klipas like a shell. So it's like a Klipas Noga. It's a shell that shines, but the shell. Shell is something which blocks you, covers you up. In other words, there's in a few places the first mimer is like it's a goes of Tzemach Tzedek. That's all the Rebbe Maharash. Sefer Rish Lamed Tes. The Rebbe Maharash explains this concept. The Klipas Nega becomes it's two places. One is a goes in Sefer Rish Lamed Tes, Sefer Rish Lamed Tes, Maharash, Terevei Sofas. Terevei Sofas is the name that the Rebbe Rashab gives to what we call the Tetel Gimel Parshas. That right after these talkers of the Maharaj, they pointed the book called the Gimel Parshas, the first three Parshas, Bereshis, Noach, Lech Lecha, the Maimon of the Alter Rebbe, with Agoes of the Rebbe Tzemach Tzedek and the Rebbe Maharaj. Because it's the first three Maimonim in Torah, so the Rebbe Rashab calls it Torah Surface. But the book it's called the Gimel Parshas. In our generation, the Rebbe said that we should. All these are reprinted in Torah of Tzemach Tzedek, because the majority of our goes of Tzemach Tzedek is a little Maharaj. Koponim, so in this Maimorim, in this Hagos, over there, he explains the Klipas Nega itself as Parsa Master Saloi. But more importantly, the Pasuk says in Chumash Bereishis, Parsha Bereishis, Chet Hadas, Vayas Hashem Elikim LaAdam L'Ishte Kosnes Ve'al Bishem. After Adam, it says Lo Yadati Kem, and Adam Rishon, after he ate Chet Hadas, he was ashamed to be naked, and he needed clothing. Vayas, so there's a special pasuk. Vayas Hashem Elikim LaAdam L'Ishte Kosnes Oil, so the Eibishter made them shirts made out of hide, made out of skin, bish.
I'm sorry, just
but yeah.
I'm sorry, just one more line about the parsa. But the parsa is between the olamos, correct?
Depends where this passes between the olamos, but
so you said
we had a parsa ben bina lazal. This parsa ben kodesh lachoil is the kedusha leklip, which that's a special parsa ben kedusha leklip. So what's the question? What?
The one between Kodesh and Chodesh, Kripas Noga?
Yeah, of course, yeah. But
the one between the Olamos is not, correct?
Between the Olamos and Kedusha, it's not, of course. That he said earlier. He always spoke about three parts: in Kesel Atzilus, ben Abina Lazam, ben Atzilus Tabria. And then he jumped right away in the parts of ben Kodesh Lachol. Which one is it? I'm not sure. In other words, sometimes it says that I assume that it means below Elam is Biyah. There's also Kodesh L'Chol. There's a special type of parcel that creates Chol. Sometimes it says in Kabbalah that Asiya is Rubayra, maybe Elam Asiya. It's called Chol. I'm not sure exactly the technical definition here. Right now, he's talking about the Kedush, Avin Esechem Abdilim, Ben Kodesh L'Chol. So like I said, this is the shirt. It comes from skin. So what is skin? Skin, last time skin. Mashcha de chivya. So this skin is not any skin. It's a snake skin. Mashcha de chivya. That's the Russian. Mashcha means skin, oil, hide, and chivya is the nocher, the snake. This is the way this Zohar describes the oil. It's a special blockage which was compared to the skin of a snake, because the snake represents a nachash, the nachash who the clips. So what is the marshal? Why do we call it Kosnes Oil? Again, so it's like a curtain made out of thick skin. That blocks the light of the sun totally, not before Masar Dat. Vahaina, the Haggai says an interesting observation. The skin we're talking about here is animal skin. The Adam shiur kipsoi. So then there's an Adam. The skin of the human skin has different quality. I don't think it's a muscle here. But the Haggai says that the concept of Adam, kipsoi. The halacha is kipsoi. Yes, gimel sheina mastim gam. It's an halacha. I think it's a Mishnah in somebody. Paris. The Adam, the three types of skin, three levels of the skin. So that these levels ain't the for Al Shalei Nitras means when this book was written, with the Rasha it wasn't printed yet. I think in our generation it's already printed. So over there it discusses these three areas.
The Shalosh Oros is about in a person, or is just in general?
I think in the person. In the person, I think that's what it means. I think. Let's see. It's not so simple. guess it's not so simple. Okay, I'll look it up again. Let's see. See, the pasuk says, "Mayahu pamayich banaolim." Banaolim, Yahu pamayich banaolim are beautiful. Your steps in shoes. So shoes are made out of skin. So in this mimer, I guess it discusses the inning of the skin. Let's see what it says here. Maybe this mimer.
I'm sorry, this is the mimer from the Alter Rebbe,
No, I think no. Yeah,
That's
either the Alter Rebbe or the Tzedek. Not sure. Either my 1 second. So what is this one? My 1 second. Let's see. Yeah, so yeah, it's actually there's a line with the Rebbe Maharash Tofish Lamed. The Rebbe Tofish Lamed, actually maybe means that man. Rebbe Tofish Lamed from the Rebbe Maharash, Ma'afa Pamayach, it says Gimel Levushim. There's Levusha Roish, Levusha Guf, Levusha Regel. Maybe that's what he's talking about. I don't see it says Gimel Mini Eiris. Maybe it's related to that. Okay, maybe I felt. Hopefully, I'll remember to look it up. I'll discuss it more. Second. Again, it's interesting that he compares what is the parallel. So the way we understood till now is Masach Dak can be a thin coat made out of clothing, of thin clothing, but he parallels it Masach HaSchuchis. It's the opposite. Masach means it's a coat made out of glass. I don't know exactly what Schuchis. Maybe he's talking about some kind of thick glass, or maybe not not see-through glass, probably. I'm sure he's not talking about glass, plain glass that we are used to. That plain glass doesn't hide anything. He's talking about Masachazor means it's like a type of glass that's
colored.
Yeah, colored. You're right. Colored, not just colored. It can be colored. It can be more than colored. It can be, what do you call it? It's a glass that doesn't allow you to see. What do you call it? See through it. What?
Tinted glass.
Exactly, tinted glass. Even tinted, you see it dark. But in some windows have are like they're whitish that you can see through them. I think that's what he's talking about. It's because talking about a curtain. The function of a curtain is to separate. If you can see through it, even if it's tinted, it's not real. That's not real curtain. But he said Kumas means it's a curtain that's like made out of glass, but the glass, it blocks the you can see the sun itself, but you can see some light coming through. It's not worth talking so much about the marshal. The idea is obvious that masach shel oil, which is with the blockage, and masach shel oil, the skin, especially hides, animal skin, is a total block. When you put animal skin on a window, you can't see it. It's dark. You can't see anything. So that is one marshal. That's the marshal between kodesh l'chol klipas neiget. That's klipas neiget. So the yesh lamatam, but there's an abdul even below it. Ben tov l'ra. Ben klipas negel klipas atmeis. There's even a low level of separation, which has been klipas negel klipas atmeis. Relative klipas atmeis, klipas negel is called toiv. Why? The klipas negel nika lat acher misapechs. It says it's a pasuk in Bereshit. The Eibishter by Golish is Adam Megan Eden. The Eibishter throughout Adam Rishon Megan Eden, but by Yosem Megan Eden, it's a lat acher misapechs. There was the lat means I think the point is that cher misapechs. It's a sword, but it turns around. That's an expression in pasuk. Now, what? It's a mashal. What's the mashal?
Lahat is the flash of light, no flash of
Yeah,
like
the flash of light. So it's naiga. Naiga also means light. I think the naiga is called lad, the light. Is medag lashon l'sapeches. Shechoila l'saper b'kedusha. Ma she'ein kan gum satna she'ein yoch v'yis nichol b'kedusha klal. So that's the difference between naiga and shalosh gupsat meis is shalei be'erach, because naiga is Yochel, we call it B'Gdusha, like the Babylon and Tanya, the whole Tanya, the first program Tanya over there, Perek Zayin, Perek Ches. He explains that it's noiga, it's something, it's things that are diva shoes. You can take you down in a bad place, but it's convertible, as we say. Misapeches, you can turn it around. Male, it's tough, but Klipas noiga. It's impossible for it to be nichal b'kedusha. So
why is
b'meila,
called? I'm sorry,
what?
I'm sorry interrupting you. What? So why is cherev?
Because cherev, because it has a. I mean, I'm just guessing. Because cherev, it's still a negative place. It could kill you. You know, just like a cherev, it could kill you if you use it the wrong way. That's what it says in Tanya, by example, that if you eat the Michael Shalei L'Shem Shamayim and you never. So then it takes it down because it can be a hell. It's also misapechas. It can turn it around. So b'meile, so that's yochali sapa. That's called tema. So that's the major difference. That's the ultimate havdalah. The ultimate havdalah. Again, so we spoke about all the arichas of Havdalah. There's Havdalah, Parsel, there's Havdalah and Kedusha. Then there's Havdalah and Klipa, the two. There's one is by Kodesh L'Choil. Choil means mundane. Choil doesn't mean Klipa. So there's no likus here, but it's something you could, if you work hard, you can be mahapach. Like when a person takes a thing that's a davar amuto, Klipas Noiga, and eats it, L'Shem Shamayim, it's Ma'il L'Kedusha. Hashem Klipas at Meir, the Alter Rebbe says also in Tanya. Let's say a person eats something great, but then he uses this energy to do something good, daven, to learn. So that energy will never be elevated to Kedusha. He used it for good. It's impossible because it's also the kosher b'derech chitzainim. It's certainly taken over by the chitzainim, by klipa. So that is the ultimate Havdalah. Zeh takes us back to the beginning of the discussion. That's shows Klipsat Meis. Averes, that's Klipsat Meis. Klipsat Noiga is Reshus. Klipsat Meis, that's Averes. That's something against the Eibish's will. So when you do that, Mavdilim, that's the ultimate separation. Okay. So that is, we have the whole arichas here. Why did he get to the flow? Since he got to it. Okay, so let's go back a step. The whole from the beginning of the Maimer, he's in the process of discussing the yachas of Nefesh Gis Nefesh Abamis. Nefesh Gis Nefesh Abamis, Nefesh, and the one that Nefesh Gis Melubash Nefesh Abamis. So the Nefesh Abamis could. So he spoke about the two aspects to it. First of all, the nefesh, on one hand, the nefesh al-ba'amis is a controlled nefesh al-ikis, but at the same time, the nefesh al-ikis could overpower the nefesh al-ba'amis, coming mavar nefesh al-ba'amis. So then he brought the ultimate effect of nefesh al-ba'amis, the nefesh al-ikis, the avoidance. The nefesh al-ba'amis can make it do averis, and that make it. total separation between the affects the actually kiss in a way that the kiss is softly black. Then he says, but levadze. So this is the whole arichas of the whole page. What the effect of avoidance is the Havdalah, Mavdil. It says, but in addition to the Havdalah, there's something even more than that. Levadze, in addition to the effect to the Averis. What happened? The likus, it blocks the house and alikus and the shama and also likus. I made it so to kill a makom shein haroy. There's another aspect to the avera. Not only do you block it, but you take the holy energy and you use it in the wrong place. It's not just block. It's more than muscle. It's not Havdalah. It's more than Havdalah. It's using the energy for negative results. Which cause the Chaim it's Chaim, like I mentioned the first time. That Chaim says that even Sham Mir Tayreach, so the whole concept of Mir Tayreach is there's a shredder stuck very. It gets a mile. So right before the mile is Mir Tayreach. The Yereach diminishes. What is it based? It's based on what it says in the Psukim. Basha Bereshis, Vayas Lakim Shnei Ma'er Sakdeirim. First, they have create two large luminaries, which is the Shemesh Nereach. But then it says in Pasuk, Samara Kotten, Samara Godlam Shal Sayim, Samara Kotten Shal Salayim. So the question is it G'deirim Aktav? Why does it say first Shnei Ma'er Sakdeirim, then it says Mara Kotten? It says the Gemara in Poland that there was whole drama happening. That first the Tag Shnei Ma'er Sakdeirim, Omer Nagadish Baruch Hu, Ein Shnei Melachim Sham Shekasarech, and then the Eibishter. So he diminished the power of the moon. The moon became smaller. That's the way the Gemara describes the way the moon and the sun. But of Chassidus, the moon and the sun really represent spheres of Milos. Shemesh ve'Yereach L'mayla in the spheres is Zoh and Malchus. So Mir Tayareach means that the sphere of Malchus becomes diminished. It gets separated because diminished has lesser strength. So that creates all this creates our world which doesn't have Gilui Likus. Says that it's high, and then it says also another point says that the Mir Tayareach was the trigger of Chet Hadas because the Yereach became smaller. Then eventually, Adam Arishon was sin the Chet Hadas. Says in its Chaim that there's a difference between these two things. Mir Tayareach and Chet Hadas attack is similar to a degree, but there's a major difference. And the Kitur Yereach also calls it Kitur Yereach. Kitur because, like I said, the Levada complained. One of my mom remember we learned earlier, I think in this sefer is Medayik about Kitur, Sagan Sipul, what Kit, I don't remember the whole, he broke down the word Kitur. Al Capone, so what it is in Mir Tayareach, Kitur Yereach, and Chet Hadas, there's a difference. It's like similar to what we said before, Havdalah. There was a separation that the Malchus lost Kaviyachal. It's the test spheres. It lost all of the Milo. The test spheres, the spheres above Malchus. Until then, when Meir was shining in Malchus, they all of the Milo. They ascended. They stopped giving Malchus the energy.
You're talking about the Malchus of the Asilut, correct?
Oh yeah. So that's the nimshal. That's the nimshal of Mir Tayareach. Let's say the moon is shining less. It has less light. So that's just like we say negative. It's a lack of gilui. But then he says that's al dechet hadas yod techach klipus neshal dechet. But dechet hadas is more than just mute. It's yod techach klipus. Not only blocking the energy from shining the proper way, but he take that energy and use it for the wrong direction. Let's say, he's going to talk about it a little later. He's going to talk in a minute what it means in more practical terms. So that's what he says, that who, that's similar to this description that's Chaim by the historical, the global concept of Mitarech and Chatetz Hadas. Same thing happens in every individual sin. Through Averis, the two negative effects, two evils. On the one hand, the neshama doesn't feel because it doesn't feel the godly energy because it's blocked, it's concealed. But at the same time, if it's blocked, where is it? You block. Let's say you block the positive effect. You block that aspect of the likus, which expresses that, which you feel a likus. At the same time, you use that energy in the wrong direction. You use that energy to strengthen your negative attributes. It's because of shulch discussion. The pasuk says in the Kehelos, I think Gam Asadim Nasam Believer, that the Eibishter gave the world to believer. It says Shalom Nasam Believer Shalom, that the world, the universe, is given to the heart of every individual person. The entire universe, including the spiritual universe, everything is affected by the Adam, by the person. The Rebbe created the human being, which means that the human being is like a Tzelem was the shape and form of the Kuz Kaviyachol. The Medrash says another way to explain Tzelem Mus, that unlike the other creations, the human being is it's connected. It's a combination of the highest and the lowest. Like the pasuk says, "Vayikach Hashem Lakim Ofa Mina Adama." He took earth, which is the lowest, Doimim, and he blew a soul of life, which is the highest. Okay, because the human being is made up from is kol milanim tachtonim, and he has and tell him with mushal mailo. Okay, lefia if nobody does so, you boil betachlis say the cause shtashos. So the behavior, the avodah of each individual affects the entire system of shtashos. Person is in his own personal life. He serves Hashem davening properly in inspired Ve'era, and also came at the which in turn draws likus in his own personal nefesh. He says, so he affects other Ma'alim, which means the other Ma'alim, the Elam Eselyanim, the Elam Atzilus, is also affected by his personal behavior. So the person has this, every individual has this power to affect the sphere of Shalamayla. Or Kamaima, the Chazal say, but as much as so ism tzayna shalmakim, my sifin koyach b'gvur shalmayla. It's a pasuk. Ata igdal na koyach had. The Rebbe, my Shamina tells me the Rebbe to igdal na. What's meant igdal na koyach had? The Rebbe says koyach should strengthen. It says as much as so ism tzayna shalmakim, when we saw fulfill the Rebbe's Ratzon, that we add strength, which means it affects the entire system.
I'm sorry, what Adam Elyon is referring to? What the Asilus?
Yeah, Adam Atzilus. Adam Atzilus.
And also, second question is Koch begevura shel Mala. I mean,
yeah, but the word gvur doesn't mean midas a gvur. Gvur means the gvur the Eibishter, like the Eibishter be a gvur. The word gvur here doesn't mean this sphere of gvur. It means, like I said,
strength.
Moshe Rabbeinu be a gvur. Gvur sometimes is like shchin. Point of the hefer, Okay, all this is just a Agdama. What he's trying to teach us is the opposite. In the contrary, when a person is drawn after the materialism of this world, and it puts down, lowers his nefesh. In Klippa is key. So what he does, it's not only himself, also the early key, like he said, the entire universe, the godly power of the universe is lowered together with him. The day the Klippas get an additional sustenance. When the Klippas receive Chayas Mekdusha, P'nat Chitzenis v'Acharayim legamri. Riba Tzimtzumim b'Yesa. Ve'enim Acharayim l'Kal Ma'or Shein P'nat Tzimtzum K'kach. Klippas are created in such a way that they only get minimal Chayas Aliki to a lot of Tzimtzum, which is also obvious that the concept of Klippa means that they're able to create something which opposes him. So it's like it's not intentional. B'meil it has minimal Chayas. That's the way it's created on its own. So but the person, to his lowering himself and his neshama into klippas, he draws down the early key. It should give more energy to the kreiches of klippa. Also, the self-terror is the surface in the regular terror. There's also in the back. There's a surface. My morim. So this concept is. I think the first time I mentioned, we see it practically in the big global picture that when the Eden. When there was sins, so what happened? So it says in Rashi, in Parshas tell this, when Eden do averes, they're taken out of the golus, so the soil gets stronger. So that's one very obvious illustration of this point you're making here. The Torah Veres, we strengthen the klippas, but it's also, you can also see it in a more individual situations, that when the person when we do the wrong thing, it means we strengthen the powers of the negative powers. You give him more strength, and when a Yid does it because he has nefesh kiss, it's the there's all kind of stories, but when I eat, a lot of times, a lot of bad things happen. That the negative powers that the klippas have came from Dafka when the Yid did something wrong. Okay, so we did. It's just an illustration. Here it's talking about something Kabbalah, which happens all the time, but it's illustrated in these types of things. Okay, now we back to, we finished this whole discussion. Now we back to the beginning of the Maimah. You remember the Maimah started like this. Remember, in the middle of page column, that's the ineksif sur merav asay toy bakashal face. So now after this all arichas, the way he described how the nefesh habahamis has this power to control the nefesh keys and to pull it down and to be mavdilim, not only mavdilim, to draw the like we just said now, the godly energy into the klippas. So now we understand what Sumera means. Sumera, you have to turn away from evil. Why? Which means, first of all, it means, he says, person should break away, tear away all his foreign interests. A person should not want, should refuse to be separated from the Eibishter's unity. So again, started saying that remember there's 4 types of tshuva, and right away when the pasuk say type. So the first level of tshuva tator, the lower level of tshuva, that's sumera. Shohashova min hara. It means the turning away, the returning from the state of evil. So that's, in other words, the nefesh habahamis, which we described by Arichas, long Arichas, how the nefesh habahamis could affect nefesh halikis in a negative way. So in order to fix that problem, to repair that, we need, that's the tshuva yultato sumera, turn away from evil. Union Toshuv Hey, there's a remes, it says Toshuv Hey. Tshuva means Hey should return. What is Hey? The Hey Achayna plus Malchus. The Hey Achayna of Shem Havaya, Yudke Vovke, the Achayna Tez Mariga of Malchus. Pchinas Knesset Yisrael, it says in Kabbalah that the Hey, the Malchus is Knesset Yisrael, Malchus Neshamas Yisrael, Malchus is Yisrael, so Neshamas Yisrael. בזהו שגורם מהירידה, כמו שקוראים לגבי התשובה, explain לגבי התשובה, this מדרגה of Malchus to Averis, מפועל ירידה, גולס השכינה, ועל כן צריך תושבי, so that's the concept of תשובת התור, תושבי, להשיבה מבחינת הגולס והשיבה, to return it, to take it back from its state of golus and shivya, being kept and captured, and he says, that is the escape from evil.
So I'm sorry, saying that the upazeh hu shekor mahayirita, but here is talking about the teshuva. Just before it is talking.
No.
Here we will in teshuva teshuva.
You have to read the you have to read the part. Okay, now it's explained for the hayes. Until the word Valkain, he just said the Hey Achayne plus Malchus plus so, but there's going to be tshuva. Hey is that madrega was the reader Valkain actually is Toshum Hey, because Hey, which is Malchus, has the reader. You have to just read it properly. Well, the reader is in Hey, which causes a tshuva. Valkain actually is Toshum Hey. So our avodah is to return the Hey. The Hey should return. You understand? That's just explaining why the hay has to be oil, because hay is the one that was the Yerida. So that explained this concept of, he started actually explaining the concept of tshuva tato, the lowest level of tshuva, which is the sumera. All right.
So Gormem Yerida is because of the Avera.
Of course, yeah.
No, I know. I'm just saying it's back and forth, but in the middle of the explaining Teshuva Tato, Teshuva, it's just going back again and explain the Yerida, and then goes again back.
It's not back again. It wants to show you why the hay is the one that has the Yerida. Which madrega in Shem Havaya is as the Yerida to Avera is the madrega of hay, which causes against a tshuva. The Melech, in order to fix it, has to be touch of hay. You have to take the hay back. All right, so we'll continue tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll find the Gimel Eris. All right.
Shkoyach.
Chodesh.
Shkoyach.
Chodesh.
Chodesh.